Hi everyone, very good morning and warm welcome to the next session on Java. The previous session we have covered the topics of variables in Java, data types in Java, and then especially in the previous session we have covered about operators in Java. And in today's session we are going to see about the control statements in Java programming language. We all are very familiar with these control statements. We have already worked in C programming language also. We have written several examples on these control statements also. So let us quickly move to the slide of control statements, right? We will see what are control statements, how they are divided into groups, and what are the things which are under each and every group, right? So here the picture shows the division of control statements. So here the control statements are divided in Java into three groups: conditional statements, iterational statements, and jump statements. What these conditional statements in the sense, for example, it is a block of code, right? It is a block of code. Here we have one condition. Here we have one condition. If this condition is true, then it will execute this particular block of code. So if the condition is true, it will execute this block of code. If the condition is false, it will execute from the next lines of code. So the execution of a block of code or the other things depends upon the condition here. So here we have a condition. If the condition is true, it will execute one part of program, and if the condition is false, it will go for executing the other part of the program. So these statements are called as conditional statements. Okay, so in these conditional statements, there are different things. Apart from this, we have simple if followed by if else, and then nested if else ladder, and switch case. So these things, the things which are rounded, are called as two-way selection statements. So the other name for conditional statements is selection statements, two-way selection statements. And this particular switch case is called as multi-way selection. This switch case is called as multi-way selection. Multi-way selection statements. Why we call this one as multi-way? In the sense, there will be multiple number of paths. We can select any part to execute depending upon condition. But here we have only two ways. If the condition is true, we will go in this way. If the condition is false, we will go in this way. Right? So we will go in this particular way if the condition is false. There are only two ways. That's why these statements are called as two-way selection statements, whereas switch case is called as multi-way selection statements. So these are the examples: if else, nested if, cascading if, and then switch case are the examples of conditional statements. And coming to the iterational statements. Iteration means repetition. For example, there is a part of there is a block of code. If I want to execute this block of code n number of times, if I want to execute this block of code n number of times, here I will have a condition. So for example, I want to execute this for 10 times. I will have a condition in such a way that this block will be executed for 10 times. So here what we do is we execute the same code again and again and again and again, depending upon our need. So the execution of same code again and again is called as iteration. And the statements which are used for the support of executing the code multiple number of times is called as iterational statements. Or there is one more name called as looping statements or loop statements. So these iteration statements are also called as loop statements or looping statements, right? So these are the examples of these iteration statements: while, do while, and for. Among this one, while is called as pre-test iteration statement. While is called as pre-test iteration loop, right? And do while is called as post-test iteration loop. Do while is called as something called as post-test iteration loop, because in while statement, we first check the condition and then we execute the code. That's why it is called as pre-test. In do while, we first execute the code and then check the condition. That is why it is called as post-test, right? Along with this one, we have one more statement under iteration statement, that is for statement. We already worked with this one. We already worked with not only this one, we already worked with if else, switch case, while, do while, for loop in the C programming language, right? Along with these two, we have one more type of statements called as this jump statements, right? So there are two things under these jump statements in Java: break and continue. Break and continue in the sense, if I want to suddenly come out of a loop, for example, as I said earlier, by using iteration statements, for example, we made a condition that this particular block will execute for 10 times. If I want to come out between the execution, I can use break. If I use break, I will just come out of the loop suddenly. And what will this continue will do is, this continue, once again, this continue, I think we have moved to the next slide, right? This continue will skip current iteration. We'll just skip current iteration. I think it's very hard to write with this animator pen, right? Wait, continue will skip the current iteration. Break will terminate the loop. Break will terminate the loop, right? So I will show, don't worry, don't get confused, and don't worry, I will show, I will explain each and everything in detail, and I will show an example on each and everything from now. If time exists, I will complete all the things. If there is no time, I will complete the remaining things in the next class. Don't worry for that. Keep the things in your mind. Control statements are divided into three categories: conditional statements, iterational statements, and then jump statements. So under conditional statements, we have if else, nested if, cascading if, and switch case, where conditional statements are again categorized into two things: two-way selection statements or multi-way selection statements. In two-way, we have only two paths. If it is true, we will go in one way, and if it is false, we will go in another way. But in multi-way, we have multiple number of paths. Paths are selected according to the values, right? That is the example. Switch case is the example for multi-way selection statements or multi-way conditional statements. And the second type of control statements are iterational statements. Here we execute the same code again and again. So there are three statements which support to execute the same code again and again are while, do while, and for loop. Among this one, while and for are called as pre-test iteration loops. where the condition is first verified, and if the condition is true only, then we allow the control to enter into the block of code. And the post-test iteration, that is the example do while. In do while, we first execute the block and then check the condition. So if the condition is false, we never execute the block. That means if it is a true or false, once again, so and do while is a post test where the loop is executed first and then we check the condition. So irrespective of the condition, each and every loop will be definitely executed for one time. And then we have the third type of control statements. Those are the jump statements where we have break and continue. Break will terminate the loop and continue will skip one for one iteration. Don't worry, I will show example for each and everything, right? So I'm clear on clearing all these drawings, and I will move to the next slide. The next slide, we will see the flowchart of a simple if condition and one example on simple if condition. So if you observe here, we have an if condition, and with this if condition, the condition will be verified here. And if the condition is true, some part of code will be executed. And then if the condition is false, we will go by executing the next lines of programming code. And this is the example. So here we have a class name called as if example, and this is the main method in Java programming language. And inside the main method, we have defined a variable with the name integer, with the name age, where the data type of that variable is integer, and we are trying to store the value of 20 inside age. Now we are writing some if condition here. Here our condition is age is greater than 18, then it will print age is greater than 18 over the output screen. So I'm using if keyword, and then inside the if I have mentioned a condition called as age greater than 18. So if the condition is true only, then it will print this particular statement over the output screen. And if the condition is false, it will end the program without printing any output. So in case of false, it will come out of the program because the program execution will get completed. And if the condition is true, it will print this particular statement over the output screen. So let us have a look at this example in the programming window. Not just, I will show you this example in the programming window. Right, go to file and take a new Java. Sorry, this Perl document is another programming language. We are working with Java. We have to take one Java file. And in this one, let us start from the beginning. So use the class keyword in order to define a class. And the name of the class is A. In Java, we have a main method. The name of the main method is public static void main string args. As I said earlier, here using args is not a mandate. We can use your name also, string ece, right? So inside the main method, let us define a variable int a equal to 18, right? Int a equal to 18 or int a equal to 20. And now write an if condition that if a is greater than some 25, right? If a is greater than some 25, print system dot out dot print ln something called as youngster. Right? So if the age is greater than 15, then it will print youngster. And in case if the age is not greater than 15, we don't get any output for this program. So it is only, we are only using simple if condition. So let us save this code with the name capital A.java, because the main method public static void main string args is located in class A. So that's why I have saved this program as A.java. Now go to tools and compile the program first, so we don't get any errors for this code. Now run the program. So if we run the program also, still we don't get any output, because here we only try to print youngster when the value of a is greater than 25. But if you look at the value of A, it is only 20. That's why we don't get any output. So let us make some changes in the value of A. Let us have the value of A is 30. Now save the code. Again, compile the code, and then now run the code. So if you run the code, so it is printing youngstar over the output screen. So that means this particular statement is executed. This particular statement is executed only when the given condition is true. So when the given condition is false, it will just enter into the next lines of code, and this program does not contain any next lines of code. That's why we are unable to get any output in case of false in the condition, right? So I think now everything is clear for you regarding the simple if condition. So let us move to the PPT and let us look at the next thing here. So the second one is if else. So now till now we have worked with if condition. Now we have to look with if else. So in if else there are two things. If the condition is true, we will execute some part of code, and in case of the condition is false, we execute the other part of code. So here we have one condition. In case of condition is true, we will execute some if block, and in case of condition is false, we will execute else block, right? And after if and else, we have some common things which will be executed in any case. If the condition is true, the common things will get executed, and if the condition is false also, the common things will get executed. So if you verify here, so let us have a look at for a program on if else. So I want to show one program on if else, especially I want to show whether the given number is even or not. So for the same thing, I want to update for the same program. So I have defined an integer variable a where the value of a is 30. So now I want to use if and else. So if a percentage 2 equal to 0, which means I am trying to divide the value of a with 2, and I'm expecting the remainder of the for the division is 0. So in case the remainder is 0, which means the given number is an even number. So in case the condition is false, condition is true, I want to print uh, even number. I want to print even number. So in case if the given condition is false, I want to mention this one inside else block. So here I need to mention system dot out dot print ln odd number. If it is not an even number, then automatically it will be an odd number. So here we are trying to check the condition, right? We are trying to check the condition. The given number is divided by 2. We are expecting the remainder should be 0. If it is 0, then the given number is an even number. And if it is not 0, the given number is an odd number. And commonly, I want to print one more statement, system dot out dot print ln. Thanks for the verification. I want to print this one. Thanks for verification. Right? So now I'm saving this code. Now compile the code first. I think we got some error at line number 12. Let us verify that one. So at line number 12, we have just given print L. We have to provide print ln. So I make it corrected. Now just compile the code. So now we get 0 errors. Now run the code. So if you run the code, it is providing an output that it is an even number and it is giving thanks for verification text on the output screen, which means this particular condition is true. That's why it is executing the statement. Because of the execution of that statement, it has printed even number over the output screen. And after that one, if block is executed, that's why it is not entering into the else block. If block is executed, the control will never enters into the else block. The control will never enter into the else block, right? In case of if block is false, then the control will never enter into the if block. It will enter into the else block in case of condition is false. So whether it will enter if block or whether it will enter else block, this particular statement will get executed for all the things, right? So let us observe whether this statement will execute for odd number also or not. So I'm clearing all these drawings, and I want to verify whether the given number 29 is an even number or an odd number by using my program which was written over the screen. Just compile the code so there are no errors, and then run the code. So it has given odd number and it is giving thanks for the verification, which means the given condition is false. So the given condition is false. So because of the condition is false, the control is entered directly into else block. The control entered into else block because the given condition is false. So it will never return to the if block. It will never return to the if block. After executing this else block, it will execute the next lines of code. That's why we got the output as odd number followed by thanks for the verification. You can observe the output here. One second. This is how this if else condition will work. And let us move to the PowerPoint presentation, and let us see what is there in the next slide. So here we ended up, and then thought the next one, if else ladder. If else ladder, in the sense we will have a combination of if else, if else, if else, right? If the first condition is true, then if the first condition is true, then it will execute the statement. If the first condition is false, then it will check the second condition. If the second condition is false, then it will go for the checking the third condition. In case if the third condition is also false, then it will execute the statements regarding that false condition. At the same time, in case if the first condition is true, it will execute the statements which are represented here with a green line, and in such case it will never enter into the next if condition, right? If the second condition is true, then it will execute the statements which are under second if condition, and if the nth number of if condition is true, then it will execute the statements which are under that nth if condition. So this is how the if else ladder will work. It is very simple. Along with the if and else, we have multiple number of if else conditions. Let us move to the next one. And this is an example on if else. So there is a variable called as marks, and it is an integer variable where the value inside that variable is 65. And we are verifying whether the given value, according to the given value, whether the person is failed or got a grade or B grade or C grade or D grade according to the marks he has. So he has 65 marks, and I am checking with each and every condition. If marks are less than 50, then we have to mention him as failed. So this condition is false. 60 is less than 50. The condition is false. That's why we are going to check the else block. Inside the else block, we have one more if condition. So here we are going to check whether the marks are greater than or equal to 50 and less than 60. But here we have 65. Again, the if condition is false. That's why we are going to enter the next else block. And in the next else block, we have one more if condition, and if this if condition is true, so because of this if condition is true, it is going to print system.out.println C grade. So on the output screen, we get C grade for this output, for this program, what you are seeing on the screen, right? So because of this if condition is true, it will never into any other else block, right? Only if the if condition is false only, then it will enter into the next else block. This if condition is false, that's why it has entered into this particular if else if statement, and this if is also false, that's why it has entered into this if else. Because of this if else is true, it is executed and printed C grade on the output screen, and it is not entered in any of the other if else statements. It will never enter. So that's why I have represented it with red color line. It will never enter all these things because it has already executed one if condition true statement. Right, this is how the if else ladder will work. And let us move to the next slide. Nested if statements. So keep one thing in your mind when there is a word called nested, which means there is something same in one another. For example, nested classes means if there is one class in another class, then the inside class is called as nested class. Nested loops means if there is one loop inside another loop, then the loop is called as nested loop. And the same thing for the if also. If there is one if condition inside another if condition, then the if condition is called as nested if condition. So here what we will do is we will have two if conditions. One will be the outside if condition and the inside if condition. So the inside if condition is called as nested if, and the outside if condition is called as nesting if, right? So here we check one condition. Here we check one condition. In case the condition is true, we will go for checking another condition. And if both the conditions are true only, then we will execute this if code, right? So here, if you observe the program which was on the RHS of the screen, right hand side of the screen, there is a variable called as int, where the int age, where the value is 20, and there is one more variable with the name weight, where the value is 80. What I want to check is if the age is greater than 18 and if the weight is greater than 50, then I want to print he or she is eligible to donate blood. So that's why I'm going to check two if conditions. I am verifying weight, and then I am verifying age. If the both are true only, then it will print you are eligible to donate blood on the output screen, right? So there is one if condition inside another if condition. So the second if condition is called as nested if, right? The second if condition is called as nested if. Now let us move to the next slide. Right, in the next slide, we will see the switch statement. So the Java switch statement execute one statement from multiple conditions. It is like if else ladder statement. The switch statements works with byte, short, int, long, and enumeration types, string, and some wrapper types like byte, short, int, and long. Since Java 7, there are several versions in Java, and you can use strings in switch statement. So using of strings is not allowed before the 7th edition of Java, and after the Java 7th edition, Java programming is allowing strings inside the switch statement. So in other words, switch statement tests the equality of a variable against multiple values. So don't get confused with this text. I will show what is the switch statement and how we can use this switch statement, right? Right, I will explain the syntax of the switch statement. So here for switch statement, we have an expression. We have an expression for this switch statement, right? So this expression may result in any one of the value. This expression may result in any one of the value. If the value is 1, right? If the value is 1, this code will get executed. The things which are in green color. If the value is 2, this code will get executed, which are in the red color. If no values are matched, then it will execute the default one, right? For each and every case, if you observe, for each and every case, there is one statement which is common called as break, which will be at the end of each and every case. So there will be one expression, and there are n number of cases, and the last one is the default case. So this default will get executed when no cases are executed. If any one case is executed, then we just come out of the loop, because for each and every case we have a statement called as break statement. Because of the break statement, if any case inside the switch case is executed, we just come out of the loop, right? So let us see one example on this switch statement. Let us before going to see an example, let us see the flow chart. Right, in the flow chart, we have something called as an expression. So this expression is going to be matched with all these cases, right? If it matches with case number 1, then we will go executing statements and we will go out of the loop. In case if this case 1 is not matched, right? In this case, if this case 1 is not matched, then we will verify case 2. And in case if the case 2 is matched, we will execute the statement and we will go out of the loop. I don't want to write and I don't want to confuse you. Just observe the diagram. Here we have an expression. If this expression, under this expression, we verify case 1. And if case 1 is failed, we verify case 2. And if case 2 is failed, we verify case 3. And if case 3 is failed, we verify case 4, and so on, case number n. If no cases are matched with our value, then it will execute default case. If in any case, if case 1 is matched, we will execute the statements and we will go out of the loop. We will never check case 2, case n default. And if case 1 is failed and case 2 is matched, then the statements regarding case 2 are executed and we go out of the loop. We will never check case 3 and so on, case n and default, right? So this is how the switch statement will work, right? So let us have a look at one of the examples on switch statement. Okay, so we just see an example in the programming window. Right, there is a class A, and let us use the same code. Right, there is one variable called as int a equal to 20. Right, I am using switch case here, and my expression is a, and I am using the value of a. Inside switch case, I have different number of cases. Case 1, case 1, system dot out dot println, right? System dot out dot println, something called as good morning, right? And I have a case number 2, right? Case number 2. Here I want to print. One second. I just want to copy each and everything. Under case number 2, I want to print something called as good evening, right? I have one more case called as case 35. If the value is 35, then I want to wish everyone as good night. And in case if there is a case called as 20, I want to welcome all. I want to welcome all, right? In case if there is nothing matched here, right? In case if there is nothing matches here, I want to print I don't want to wish. I don't want to wish, right? So here, as it is said earlier, each and every case should have a statement called as break statement. at the end. So here what will happen is we will verify with the first case, right? We will verify with the first case. If the given value is 1, then it will print good morning. If the given value is 2, then it will print good evening. If the given value is 35, then it will print good night. And in case if the given value is 20, it will print welcome all. In case if the given value is does not match with 1, 2, 35 and 20, it will print I don't want to wish over the output screen. So let us save the code and 1 second. There is one mistake at line number 20, and mistake is that the spelling of default, right? So I have changed the spelling of default here. Now compile the code, so there are no errors. Now I want to run the code. Now run the code. So we got some message called as welcome all. So why this message has been printed in the sense, if you observe the program, so it executed the case number 20 because we have given switch off A where the value of A is 20. That's why it has executed case number 20. So and it printed welcome all over the output screen. Right? 1 second. I'm closing all the windows. Right? It has printed welcome all on the output screen. So let us change the value of A to something called as 2. I am saving this one and I'm compiling this one and I am running this one. So if you observe, if I have given the value as 2, it has printed good evening because we have given the value of A where the value of A is 2. That's why it has executed case number 2. So let us verify what happens if we don't provide any value which was under the cases. So here I have provided A equal to 24. If you observe, there is no case number 24. So let's see what will happen in such cases. So it has printed I don't want to wish because in case of there is no match between all the cases, default case will get executed, as I said earlier. So in the default case, there is one statement which will print I don't want to wish over the output screen. That's why the thing I don't want to wish was printed on the output screen because no cases are matched. That's why the default case has been matched, right? So this is how the switch case will work. So I request you, all the people, to please practice each and every program what you are seeing on the screen. Along with that, I request you all to please practice the programs which was in the internet. And don't copy and paste the things. Right? Don't copy and paste the things. Just learn the syntax, learn the things, and make a habit that to practice the programs of your own. So with this switch statement, I'm going to close today's session, right? In the next session, we will go seeing the iterational statements. So I hope you all enjoy this session. And if you have any doubts regarding this session, please make a comment in the comment box, or you can text me in the groups so that I will answer you, right? I really thank each and every listener of this particular session for being here from the last 45 minutes. I hope you all got some enough knowledge regarding the control statements. Sorry, one of the control statements, that is conditional statements. Till now we have discussed about simple if condition, if else, nested if, cascading if, and switch case, along with the examples, theory part, and then flow charts. Hope you all enjoy this session. We will meet you in the next session with looping statements, right? That is iterational statements. We will concentrate on while, do while, and for loop in the next session. And we will see the flow charts, we will see the theory part regarding these 3 statements, and we will go for the examples on these 3 statements. So in case if we have time, we will go for the break statements and continue statements, right? I thank once again all the listeners of this video for being here. Thank you once again.